So, it is a full moon in Aquarius. And yes, it is a supermoon, which means it's really potent. Full moons are already opportunities for reaping what you've sown and reflecting on what's happened. So when it's this bright, yeah, it highlights a lot. Especially from about 6 months ago, in January, when the new moon in Aquarius happened. And it's pretty wild how much has changed since then. I think everyone I know is in a pretty different place than they were back then. I am. We all wanted to do all the things. Do you remember what you wanted to accomplish back then? Do you feel like you're closer to that? Do you still want any of that? You know, it's totally fine to change your mind. Especially under these stars. Right now, there's this collective feeling of wanting to overhaul and make big changes. The moon is pretty much illuminating the wrongness of everything, especially regarding the collective. Aquarius wants the best for everyone as a whole. That's why they're the humanitarian of the zodiac. But being a humanitarian doesn't mean coddling. They're really not about prioritizing comfort or luxury or ease, really. They know that the real lasting change, the one that makes an impact for generations to come, that's going to require a lot of tough work. Especially, yes, with Venus retrograde in Leo. And I have annoyed you about that enough, I know. But it's prevalent. We all want more for ourselves, in a lot of ways. We want to feel good, and goodness, and warmth, in real, genuine ways. So we gotta ask ourselves, what's it gonna take to make that happen? What's it gonna take to make us change things? What work do we need to do? What do we need to let go of? And it makes me think about the Ten of Wands and the Ten of Swords. Fire and air. The sun is in Leo after all. No, because, yeah, Aquarius is an air sign. They're the water bearer. They're not of water. Anyway, we've reached this fullness and this sense of finality. And it's time to ask ourselves, what do we do about all of this? And so we look at the Ten of Wands, and the poor guy is carrying all these wands, all these projects that are brimming with power and energy, potential. But what use is it if he can't even see where he's going? And then the Ten of Swords, well, it's done is done. And I feel like a lot of old systems have run their course. Like, the way we're doing things now it just doesn't work. And yeah, you are seeing it with the strikes. Things feel wrong. And we all kind of know it. But that doesn't mean it's all doom and gloom. We want more and we want better, and that's not a bad thing. We just have to do some work on determining what that looks like for us. What that looks like for ourselves. What other tarot cards did I pull for this moon? Well, I actually pulled the Hanged Man and the Knight of Cups. Yeah, hence the focus on contemplation. And yes, the optimism. These cards sort of ask the question, what will you give away? What do you have to offer? And the answer isn't always readily available. The answer isn't always clear. And it takes time to come up with it. And it takes perspective and the right answer. It takes time to find it. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. And despite that, my brain hasn't really quieted down. And I need to sift through all my own hopes and dreams and plans and fears and regrets. There's another new moon at the end of this month too, you know. Yeah. But that one is going to be in Pisces, and that's for future us to worry about. And yes, Mercury will be stationing retrograde later this month. So it's just lots of honing and clearing out and remembering what matters and releasing what doesn't, pouring out what doesn't, which brings me back to Aquarius and their counterpart in tarot, the star. When we look at that card, all the noise is gone. All the destruction and terror and damage from the tower, which was the previous card. You can't find it there. We know everything's gone to shit. But in the star, there's some serenity here. And that's not to say that all the awful things didn't happen. But it does show us that we have to get to this clearing, this space to pour back into the places that need it, so that we have room for what we really need and for who we want to be after everything is settled. Because even though serenity can be solitude, the stars behind that figure remind us that we're not alone. They remind us that there is still some light in the sky beyond what we're looking at now. There's hope. There's more than just what we're seeing. And the biologics that they found with the aliens. But yeah, all of that happens with the moon in Aquarius. The idea that we need to think about what's worth saving and bringing back and nurturing without all the noise and pressure of what we're conditioned to prioritize. So all of that is to say, what do you want to do moving forward? What do you want to do now? For yourself, for the people you love, and for your community, for your legacy.